Hello, welcome to Stay Home, Eat Great. Today I'm joined by my beautiful wife Elizabeth. We're doing a tag team cook here. She's a little camera shy, so I'll be doing the majority of the talking unless I get something wrong and she has to correct me. So be watching out for that. Today on Stay Home, Eat Great, we're gonna bring a very tasty, hearty soup called Caldo de Albondigas. That is a meatball soup with lentils, rice, and chipotle chile. This is a recipe I know you're gonna wanna make. We were calling my mom earlier to verify the recipe, and she's like, you better make twice the amount so that you can send me some here at home. Believe me, this is something you're gonna wanna try. On to the ingredients. All right, to start off with, the first thing you gotta do is make the albondigas, or meatballs. We're starting off with 3 pounds of ground beef. We're gonna have some cilantro, nice and chopped, some all-purpose flour, 1 egg, and some rice. All right, that's for the meatballs. Now for the rest, we're using lentils, okay? We are using kosher salt, garlic powder, black pepper. I like coarse ground black pepper, cumin or comino, our can of chipotle peppers, some more cilantro, 2 tomatoes. We're going to be using chicken bouillon as well as tomato bouillon, and last but not least, we'll be using an onion. Now on to our meatballs. All right, we're gonna start off with a tablespoon of cumin. Next, we're gonna do a ½ tablespoon of garlic powder. All right, and we're gonna do a ½ tablespoon of kosher salt. Next, we're gonna put 3/4 cup of coarsely chopped cilantro, 3/4 cup, and we're gonna put 1 cup of whole grain rice, and lastly 1 egg. And a little bit of flour to hold it together. So I just put 1.5 tablespoons of flour. My wife says that's good. Now on to the meatballs, or albondigas. All right, my wife is now using her hands, safety first, so she's using some gloves. She's gonna be kneading the meat, incorporating the rice, the salt, garlic, the cumin, the egg, all together. Beside her, she has a little bowl with some flour in case she needs to put a little more flour on the meatballs in order for them to keep together. And to her left, we have some parchment paper. We have some parchment paper here, and she'll be stacking up the meatballs here. All right, now at this point, we're gonna work in a ½ teaspoon of black pepper, ½ teaspoon of coarse ground black pepper. You could do it at the beginning if you want to, but we found that there's just something about doing it at this step here. Maybe it's that we forgot. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe not.
You will never know.
Choose your own adventure. Gathering the meat to make the albondigas. It's a basic meatball size. Maybe if you make spaghetti and meatballs, not too big. You know, it's got to fit on your spoon, or you can cut them in half when you're eating them. Just wait till you try it. It's going to be absolutely delicious. And here we are putting the meatballs on our parchment paper. Okay, so I have my stock pot here, and I'm going to get a little bit of olive oil. I'm going to put approximately 1.5 tablespoons of olive oil in here. What I'm going to do next is I need to saute It's a medium onion and 2 large, I did Roma tomatoes, as well as cilantro. So now we're gonna bring in our onion and our tomato. Start sauteing them, as well as our cilantro. It's a cup of cilantro, and I'm putting in a ½ teaspoon of kosher salt. Alright, so I've sauteed my tomato, onion, and cilantro for 5 minutes. This is what it looks like, nice and soft. And now I'm going to proceed to fill up this stock pot halfway. I'll count it in cups for you. Alright, 15 cups of water. 15 cups. Now, my wife made, they are 50 meatballs that she's made. So you just got to be able to, you know, according to how much you want to make. I have a quota to fill. We have a quota to fill. My mom wants some, my sister wants some, so that's why we made 3 pounds of meat. Believe me, this recipe is that good. So now I'm going to take my lentils and we're going to rinse them out. So I have a colander and I'm going to take half of this bag of lentils and we're going to rinse them off. This is a 1 pound bag, so I'll be taking ½ pound of lentils to put in here. Alright, so next we're going to put a tablespoon of chicken bouillon and a teaspoon of tomato bouillon. Right, so our water is about to boil, so we're going to put 3/4 cup of white rice, of long grain rice. So I'm going to stir this a little bit. We want this to come to a boil before we put in our albondigas, our meatballs. We want it to come to a boil because you don't want them to fall apart. So once it's boiling, that ensures that the meatballs are starting to cook immediately. At this point, before you reach a full boil, feel free to get a spoon, taste your broth. There's nothing raw in here yet. See if it's to your liking, and if you want to, you can add a little more salt. I'm going to add another tablespoon of kosher salt. We've reached the boil, and now we're going to introduce our meatballs. And the whole purpose is for the meatballs to begin cooking instantly as they hit the water. So here we go. Bring in your meatballs. You just don't want them falling apart. You guys want to see all the meatballs? Let's bring down the heat a little bit. Here's our meatballs. It's clearly boiling, and I'm putting them in. I'm going to put them in as quick as I can here. So I'll be using both hands. I don't want to miss that boil there. I want them all to start cooking. If as you're putting them in you notice that it stops boiling, crank that heat up, because it has to keep boiling while the meatballs are coming in order for them to start cooking. Alright, so all my meatballs are in, and I let it come back to a boil. I can hear the water boiling in there, and I'm going to bring in my ½ pound of lentils. These are tasty. You can, if you don't like lentils, or you know you don't like lentils, you don't have to put them in there. Alright, we're back to a boil. So I'm going to put this on low. I'm going to cover it and let it simmer. Alright, so next up is to put in the chipotle. I'm going to put 1 cup of water. And then I'm going to get my can of chipotle peppers. This is a 3.5 ounce. And that's all I use. If you like it hotter, you can put more in there, but I'm going to put the whole thing in there. They smell nice and smoky, very savory. So we're going to put them all in there. Blend it until smooth. We've blended our chipotle peppers with a cup of water. And here it is. We've simmered for 20 minutes. When you're done, if you see any excess fat, here on the top, or grease, I'm sorry. If you see any excess grease, feel free to skim it off from the top. But here's what we got. Some rice and our meatballs, our albondigas as they're called. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to put my can of Chipotle chile. These are smoked red peppers. A little stir in order to get all that flavor in there. Alright, moment of truth. So now, let's serve. We're going to get some of our meatballs right in here. Some of our broth. A couple more meatballs. Alright, now this is our Albondiga soup with lentils, rice, and chipotle. Very hearty soup. As you can see, there's some rice and lentils. And here's our meatballs. They've already come through. Nice broth. Now we're going to give it a taste. Alright, so time to taste our albondigas con arroz, lentejas y chipotle. Or albondigas meatballs with rice, lentils, and chipotle pepper. Excellent, excellent. Very hearty soup. I know you're going to enjoy. Come back later. Alright, from my house to your house, this soup right here, this caldo is something you gotta try. Hey babe, it's something you're gonna want to try. Thanks so much to my wife Elizabeth for helping me out with this dish here. It's one of her favorites. Very good, very tasty. You gotta try it. I know you are gonna enjoy it. So thank you so much for watching today. Feel free to share, to like, hit the subscribe button on the bottom and the bell to be notified. One more thing. Be on the lookout in the coming weeks. We have some merch we're working on. I'm designing a t-shirt, and I'm also working on some custom aprons. Thank you so much those that have requested. This is for you. So be on the lookout once again very soon. I'm Steve Lopez. Stay home, eat great. God bless you, and be safe.